job on the interstate. Late night, third shift, really low pay. I was hired to greet the out-of-towners, some on uppers, some on downers. Try to help them on their way. I got a boss, but you never know. I'm the one here who runs this show. I sell turkey and gasoline, fix the broke down Slurpee machines, mop these dingy floors until they glow. That's my job at the truck stop. And I take money, I make change, smile and send them on their way. It ain't a life of fortune, fame, or glory, but I shook the hand of Johnny Cash just a week before he passed, passing through on his way to Montgomery. I ain't got much, but I got stories.
Yes, we've got another end in the beginning, as it were, for this week's edition of Overdrive Radio for March 17th, 2025, featuring there the last thing we heard the last time the one and only Tony Justice appeared on Overdrive Radio back in 2023 after the release of his Greatest Shifts collection of hits and new material as well. That song there, Truck Stop, was earmarked for a special place in the heart of the trucker-songwriter, given its subject was inspired by Justice's mother's long work at a couple of different East Tennessee truck stops that you'll hear him mention by name in today's podcast. I'm Todd Dills, and it's with a bit of a heavy heart that we get this edition rolling with mention of Justice's mom, Sharon, and known to me and many others simply as Momma J. She passed this past November, and it's no small number of truck drivers that were touched by her life, that's sure. Tony Justice and his late truck-driving father, chief among them.
She loved doing that because she felt like she was still taking care of Dad because she was doing something for all those truckers, and you wouldn't find a cleaner shower on the interstate, and a more warming smile to meet you when you walk through the door. And she was just a friend of mine summed it up better than anybody. It was Bill Weaver actually said, "I don't know anyone who was called Mama by so many different people."
We brought Justice back to Overdrive Radio this week for a bit of a preview of his big headlining concert upcoming next week, Friday, March 28th, at the end of the day at the Mid-America Trucking Show in Louisville. Justice's music, if you're unfamiliar, has for a decade and a half and more now been nothing if not steeped in his life over the road, joined in the journey by his wife and chief promoter, that's sure, Misty. For many years, he trucked with Everhart Transportation out of Greenville, Tennessee, among others prior. Yet, knowing a little about a particular tour bus I know he's got, I asked him this question early on in our conversation.
Are you still driving some?
The bus. I drive the bus.
Driving the bus, yeah.
I got my CB in there. I play trucking, you know. I'm what, 45, 60. I'm about 64 foot. Got that trailer on there. 55,000 pounds. It's close. I'm just not having to deal with shippers, receivers, or brokers. I just get to ride and enjoy the countryside, so that's kind of nice.
If you've not seen Tony Justice live, get ready for a spectacle at Matt's, that's sure. He performs with a crack group of players, and it's always a great show.
Stanley Lemons, got Rick on the guitar, Rick Cantrell plays steel and banjo, Danny Begay on drums, Shad Light on banjo, electric guitar, and acoustic, and we got a new guy on bass this year, Dylan Ford, F-O-R-B-E-S on bass guitar. So great bunch of great players, and everybody get to enjoy them here just a couple of weeks at the Mid-American Truck Show.
After the break, dive into a conversation with Justice that touches on plans for the big show with Colt Ford at Matt's, Tony and Misty Justice's huge large cars and guitars truck show event in East Tennessee in May at a new location this year, and first off, the legacy of Momma J, the late Sharon Justice. Keep tuned.
When the the road calls, trust Howe's Diesel Defender to keep you rolling. Armed with advanced IDX4 detergent, Defender cleans and prevents all harmful deposits, including IDIDs and asphaltenes. It also reduces emissions and regen cycles, giving you a 5% boost in fuel economy or more. With improved power restoration and throttle response along with less injector sticking, whether you're hauling loads or cruising cross-country, Howe's Diesel Defender will help you go further than ever before.
Find more information about the full line of Howe's fuel treatments at HOWES, HowesProducts.com. And keep tuned for the Overdrive Radio sponsor's own big news at Matt's next week, for sure. And here's Justice, honoring the OTR support legacy of Momma J. Here we go.
Mom's name was Sharon Justice. She was just an awesome lady, man. She was a bulldog. She seen something that she wanted or wanted to see something accomplished. It'd take an act of God to stop her from accomplishing that. And she'd always been my biggest supporter and encourager throughout my entire life, right up to the day that she passed away. So she was definitely a cornerstone, of my family, my brothers and sisters, our immediate family, that childhood of growing up, up until she was 88 years old, and we were blessed to have her around for a long time. And of course, you want to keep them forever, it just don't work out that way. But I think she's definitely watching down and keeping a hand on all of us. She loved working at the truck stop. My dad, her husband, passed away in 2007, and shortly after that, she went to the work here for the Pilot truck stop at exit 417 here off I-40 in eastern Tennessee, and then she kind of bounced back between there and the Pilot station at exit 4 off 81 right up the interstate, and she kind of jumped back and forth, working both places. And my mom was one of those people that when Dad come home, everything was done. I mean, she'd take his boots off, run his bath water. I mean, she spoiled that guy, but he worked his tail off too to support us. I mean, night and day. And she was just one of those people. She loved taking care of Dad, taking care of people. And so when Dad passed on, she went to work at the truck stops, and she loved. It was funny because she was, a little bit older lady, but she was. She worked on keeping the showers clean and the store clean, and taking the trash out, taking the trash out of the fuel islands, which anybody that's been driving for long understands how heavy those bags get with all the different things that get threw away and inside the trash cans there at the fuel pumps. And man, she'd sling them suckers around like they was nothing. So she was she loved doing that because she felt like she was still taking care of Dad, because she was doing something for all those truckers. And you wouldn't find a cleaner shower on the interstate, and a more warming smile to meet you when you walk through the door. And she was just a friend of mine summed it up better than anybody. It was Bill Weaver actually said, I don't know anyone who was called Mama by so many different people.
Yeah, including myself. I got to meet her a few times for sure, more than a few probably. It's over the years, and I've been around her a good bit, particularly when I think I remember running into her at GATS sometimes. You guys, did she come down there with you guys, or I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen her.
She did. She come down there for one or two of the shows. She missed one show. She couldn't get off for it, but she was down there for a couple of them. So yeah, you've seen her down there. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what she wanted to go by, and she earned it, man.
She loved
Mama.
it.
Yeah.
No, her Momma J, she just light up.
Yeah.
I mean, and she thought that was pretty awesome. She was just Momma J. That's what everybody knew her by, and she's greatly missed by a lot of people. And she truly touched a lot of lives, a lot of hearts out here. The truck drivers. I've heard of drivers say that instead of staying on 40 to go to Asheville, they'd take 81 and go out of the way just so they could stop by and say hi to her. They would go out of their way. It is a truck driver. All of us know what that means. It's not something we usually enjoy doing, adding extra miles to our trip, but they were so glad just to do that and didn't think twice about it. So she appreciated the drivers. She, after Dad driving for so many years, she understood the challenges and the lack of having someone to talk to, and someone to take time to feel like you're appreciated. And she was just her cup runneth over with those type of things for all the drivers who walked in the truck stop when she was there. And she walk out the door every day whistling, going to work, just happy as could be.
Well, I'm sure she'd be she'd be proud of everything that's going on with you these days. And I was just kind of heartened to see that it looks like this year for the big Mid-America Trucking Show here coming up in a week or two, that you are finally essentially the headliner of the show. There's another act on the bill with you, of course, but it seems like you're getting top billing, Tony. Is that true here? And how does it feel to be the name at the top of the list? I suppose. I know we had you out there at GATS a few times headlining, but I don't think you've been in this position at Matt's. I mean, you played there for sure, though.
I've always just been grateful to get to play on that stage in front of my peers and do what I do that so many of them support. And it's kind of always in the back of your mind, it'd be cool to headline one day. But I remember when I thought I'd never just get to open, and
right.
And then we started. I think we've opened 3 times there, 3 or 4 different times. I can't remember. And we get tons of people on social media like, you deserve to be opening. Some of them get kind of mad that that I'm not headlining. Like, you deserve to be headlining. We want you to headline and all this. And I'm like, these guys are, hit singers. A lot of the other people they've had hits on radio.
Oh, yeah.
They're bona fide. And I'm the trucking industry guy. So, I didn't know that my place at the table was there, and it's something I've dreamed of, but I wanted to be deserving of it as well. And
right.
It just happened, we got the invitation, and we got Colt Ford is going to be performing with us. He's going to play for an hour, and then we get to go on and play for about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and get the headline spot, the last entertainer of the show, and just more proof that hard work and family supporting you and God. A lot of praying and putting faith in Him and treating people right, all kind of pays off in the long run. Sometimes it just takes a little while, and we're just really grateful to have the opportunity, and we're looking forward to what's going to be an awesome night. And thanks to our friends at Bennett as well, Bennett Family of Companies, and Boss and Bridge Hall for supporting that concert and sponsoring the concert. And it's just going to be one heck of a good time in Bennett country there at the Mid-American Truck Show Friday evening. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, tell us about Colt Ford a little bit. I'm somewhat familiar with his stuff. Is he somebody that you know fairly well, or not really?
I've never met Colt, so I'm looking forward to meeting him in person and getting to shake his hand. That guy's had a lot of success. He's coming off some really bad health issues, and he's a fighter, man. He's like, he ain't going down. He's out there churning and persevering and coming back, trying to come back this year and do shows. So, I respect anybody that had that kind of passion for something that they love to do. So I think me and him will probably get along pretty well if he's genuinely that passionate about the trucking or the music business. And obviously he is, or he probably just said the heck with this, because it's a hard business when you feel good, much less if you're going through health issues. So my hats off to him for that. I look forward to meeting him.
Yep. You say the same about trucking in a lot of ways. I guess it goes pretty much any profession, really. But
I don't care what you're doing in life, Todd. You've been around a long time. We was talking about the gray in our beard. We've been doing this a while, and the most successful people, whether they're writers for a magazine or they're truck owners or company owners or whatever business they may be in, that work ethic, man, is the luckiest people I've met in this industry, and a lot of other industries are some of the hardest working people that I've ever met. And that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, is just grit and determination and hustle and a lot of faith in men upstairs and a great family behind you to support you. And it's like I told Misty the other morning, I was like, we wake up every morning now. We've got this monster to feed that we created. This is what we wanted, and now here we are. It drives us to work. My dad always said that I don't care if you own your own company or whatever, you'll always have a boss. He used to tell me that all the time, and I used to look at him like, "Up on my own company, I will not." And he was right. Here I am, 55 years old, going, Dad kind of knew what he's talking about. So it's just a lot of hard work, and good things come from hard work. So that's all you can say about it.
As long as it remains fun, you can stay in good health and everything. Just keep on keeping on, right?
Keep on keeping on, baby. That's right.
I asked Tony Justice about his earliest memories of the Mid-America Trucking Show, which traces its history back now decades. For Justice, though, it starts after his on-the-road first record produced as a long-haul driver, mining his OTR experience creatively back in 2012.
We didn't know anybody. Me and Misty got a hotel room about 50 miles east, off of 64, east of Louisville, where the rooms were priced affordably. And we drove into Louisville all 3 days and back to the room once it ended. And we had a suitcase full of my first album, CDs of my first album. And I think we went by every vendor booth in that place. And it took us literally all 3 days to do so, stopping for a lunch break being about it. And we just started extending our hand, shaking hands. I don't know how many CDs I gave away, but just started the building, trying to make friends and the building relationship process of what we were doing. Pilot was just picking up the CD at that point, but it wasn't on the shelves yet. So we got to, go by the TA Petro, or the TA booth. It wasn't TA Petro then; it was just TA. And we ran into, lo and behold, the guy that one of those names I have a hard time remembering, but he was the buyer for TAs, and handed him his CD, and before we got 2 days into the next week, we got a phone call, them wanting to put CDs in their truck stops, because I told them, Misty went up to him and said, "Hey, Pilot's putting these in the truck stops. So why ain't you guys going to have them? Why don't you all got them in your truck stops?" And he goes, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. So we handed him a CD and wrote our number down on a piece of paper. And we just basically started just going out and just going and getting after it, wearing trails in the concrete around that place and meeting people and building those relationships, trying to earn people's respect, letting them see our work ethic, learn our personality, our character. And because, relationship building, it takes a lot of time. And that's kind of where we kicked it off. And that was 2012.
You had never been to Mass before that time?
I never even heard of it. Yeah, I mean, I trucked, but it wasn't social media,
Yeah.
I didn't read magazines a lot, see advertisements for truck shows. So I just trucked, come home and spent my weekends with my family and head back out and do it again, rinse and repeat.
Big plans for the show in particular that you want to get folks ready for?
We're going to have some special moments, but I want to keep it, to just kind of a surprise kind of thing. But there's going to be the big patriotic moment in the show. There's going to be a really cool. I've got this chrome and chicken lights kind of costume being made, and hopefully it's going to turn out cool. I haven't seen it yet, so if I plug it in and it looks doinky, then I'm just not going to use it. But I'm praying that it turns out good. We're going to have a really cool opening to the show, kind of really cool rocking deal, and then we'll have a patriotic moment. And toward the end, we're going to do a big tribute to the women. As you know, Misty was diagnosed with breast cancer into 2018 and spent the year 19 battling that. She came out on the good side of it. Not too much longer after that, a really good friend, Emily, with Roadworks, was diagnosed with breast cancer. She just recently got to ring the bell. Polly Trotter with the Bennett is also a breast cancer survivor. And then there's someone with Bennett who's just recently been diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer that's just beginning the battle. So we want to bring some people up on the stage and do a big tip of our hat to them. And dedicate the War Paint song to them. So that's going to be a pretty cool moment. We're looking forward to it.
Is that song still serving a sort of a fundraising role for Susan G. Komen Foundation?
They did for the first year, where all the downloads from that song and the income on streaming platforms went, and went to the Susan J. Komen Foundation, and that lasted for a period of time. I don't remember. I know it was at least 12 months. It may have been maybe more, but that has since ran out. But we have kept that relationship very strong with the folks at Susan G. Komen. We still put forth our efforts to raise money for them at the Large Cars and Guitars Truck Show, which is at Bristol Motor Speedway this year, by the way, May 24th, May 25th. So, we raise money for those folks every year. Then we participate in the Opry Goes Peak with them down there in Nashville. And, obviously it's a charity that's real close to mine and Misty's heart after what she went through and learning how that disease impacts the entire family, not just the person with the cancer, but everyone around them. And it's a big deal to go through. So we definitely support that. And then, but then we're also supporting Children's Speedway Charities, which I don't know if you folks are familiar with the Kyle Petty ride and the Adam Petty camp that they send kids to help kids with have different issues and things. It's a really great charity. So
it's Bristol Motor Speedway. It's you're going to have a lot more capacity, I believe, for trucks, right?
We actually have unlimited space for bobtails and combos. So we're looking
right.
That would be cool to see that place filled up, all that parking lot around there. That would take probably about 10,000 trucks. So
right.
I don't know if I want to tackle that kind of goal or not, but you never know what something might turn into. We're happy with where it is. It's we're a non-judge show. It's more of a trucker reunion than it is a truck show. And I always question myself. I said, I should have called this instead of a truck show, a truckers reunion, because people just come, they clean their trucks up, but they're not stressed out about them being just dialed in perfect. And we do a kids judged event where the kids can go around, vote for their favorite truck, and that's all the judging that goes on. And it's just kind of like a big family reunion, breaking out the barbecue or barbecue grills and throwing up the 10 by 10 tents and sitting around and hearing a bunch of good old stories. I mean, it's like an old school trucker reunion, and it's just got this, I don't know, it just has this ambiance about this show that I've never seen at any other show. We're blessed that it does. So I invite everybody that wants to come out and take part of this event and experience to come on out, and we'll crank it up and have a good time down there. And it's a great time. I get to mix two of my passions, my childhood passions of music and trucking, and I get to blend that together and do so with my brothers and sisters of the highway and share that passion for not only industry, but for the trucking industry, but for the music industry that's written more songs about the trucking industry than any other industry out there. So it's a good marriage, and it's nice to see trucking, country music, and NASCAR kind of come together on this truck show. And so I'm looking forward to all the opportunities and what the future has to hold.
I knew you and I talked briefly after Hurricane Helene came through back in the fall, but I know a lot of the worst effects were, I think, east of you, farther up into the mountains, but certainly not far from home, where you are in Danvers, Tennessee. How's recovery efforts coming along in that area?
There's still a long way to go. I mean, me and my son was out on the lake yesterday. I went fishing for the first time after breaking my leg the last time I went fishing.
Oh, you did? Oh, no.
Yeah, January 18th. That
oh, my gosh.
Broke my leg. Anyway, that's another long story.
That's another story, yeah.
Another story for another day. But was out there, and our lakes go down, they're TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority lakes. They draw down in the wintertime for electrical reasons and fill it back up in the summer. And so they're still big, huge, barges out on the lake that they're loading all this flooded timber that, where it washed down from.
Right.
Our lake has three rivers that run into it: Nollachucky, the Pigeon, and one other one. And two of those three rivers were really, really raging bad into the lake. And luckily, our lake was almost all the way down to Winter Pool. So it gave us the capacity to hold a lot of that water before we had to open the floodgates and send it all down toward Knoxville. So that was another big blessing. But as far as the recovery, over Western North Carolina, Asheville, Irwin, Tennessee, Newport, Tennessee, hot springs. There's a lot of people still
Yeah.
in need, and a lot of work still going on, a lot of prayer still needed. I mean, this thing didn't just come through and wash houses away and businesses away. I mean, it changed landscapes.
Right.
I was involved in the flood of 73, I think, or 74 in Eastern Kentucky. And my papa's house in front of us got washed away. My uncle's house got washed away. About 4 more did. And we lived in the very back of the holler, and ours didn't get washed away. But when the water went down, there was still land there to put a house back,
Right.
you know. In a lot of places with this flood, there's no land back to put. There's no land there. It's just all washed out in a big cavity, and you can't just put a house back there overnight. And same way with roads that were
Sure.
cut in. It's mind blowing, and it'll never be the same. That area, I don't think, and especially in our lifetimes, a lot of work to be done, a lot of recovery, but people are resilient, man, and God made us that way. It's part of our survival mode, and there's been a lot of good people take time to help, give money, take water, generators, fuel, gas. There's so much giving going on, and people helping one another. That's a positive side to anything like that, is seeing the community come together and people stand united on with one goal in mind, and that's just helping people. So it's been nice to see that.
I do hear that there's at least a little bit of I-40 is back open again, which is kind of miraculous.
It is. I mean, when you go back and look at those original pictures that had that mountain, I'm like, well, what did they base the foundation on? They had what I think they did. I haven't been across it, but I'm almost positive that they put both lanes of traffic over on the eastbound lanes, which is closest to the side of the mountain and furthest away from where the road collapsed. And they're running, both east and west on one side there for, a few miles or something. So it'll give them a time to secure that and get whatever they got to do to build that back up to where it's strong enough to hold another road again. Those guys are phenomenal in the job they do. I mean, I can't even fathom how to even start doing something like that, but
I know it's amazing.
They get it done. I mean, it's not the first time that place had some big slides and the road go down in the river, and they fix it back. And I'm always a little nervous going through there when it's raining real hard, and has been for a few days. I'm like, It's happened so many different times. When the ground gets really saturated, you got to kind of be careful with it.
I think the last record you put out was at Greatest Ships, which had some new material on it, I believe. Are you working on another record now? Can folks expect another release from you anytime in the near future?
I don't know how near future, but I'm gonna spend the rest of this year, gearing up and writing songs for my next album. I don't, there's even some talks about it being my last album. I don't know. Yeah, we got some praying to do and conversations to be had, but yeah, the folks that be in it, they're awesome. They sponsored my last Greatest Shifts album, and we've been getting to work with them hand in hand, and really thanks to them too, being at Family Companies and Food City for helping us, sponsor the Large Cars and Guitars Truck Show as well. They really stepped up so we could afford to have it at a really nice location. But we're going to spend this year writing an album. We're going to go in the studio toward the end of this year and start recording it and release it around Matt's with probably a big announcement.
So keep tuned for that. And don't miss Justice if you'll be in attendance at the Mid-America Trucking Show Friday, March 28th, 2025. Hope to see you there. Let's go out on a little more from the songwriter, too. You heard him mention it earlier, the War Paint track, inspired by his wife Misty's winning fight against breast cancer and benefiting so many other survivors, too. Enjoy it. You can find plenty more from Justice at the Overdrive Radio archive dating back many years at overdriveonline.com/overdrive-radio.
I brushed the hair out of her eyes, told her I love you. It It's hard to find the words to say when you get that kind of news. She said they called it early. I'm one of the lucky ones, but will you still look at me the same when it's all said and done? And I told her until the day I die. She gets up every morning, puts on her old paint, and charges out into the battle. When she'd rather run away, there's a trail of tears from her mascara. But don't underestimate the strength of a woman when she's wearing more paint.
Overdrive Radio is a production of Overdrive, the voice of the American trucker. It's edited and produced by me, Todd Dills, with the acoustic guitar and other support of trucker-songwriter Long Haul Paul Marhofer. The theme is Legend of the Snake Man by Marhofer, featuring the guitar work of Travis, the Snake Man himself, Whammock. Terry Two Socks Richardson on bass, keys by Tishomingo Jim Whitehead, and on drums, Andrew Marshall. The podcast is backed up further by Overdrive's own social media coordinator, Jasmine Campbell, senior editor Matt Cole, executive editor Alex Lockie, and video editors Lawson Russell and Andrew Glenn. See you next time.
Puts on her old paint, charges out into the battle. When she'd rather run away, there's a trail of tears from her mascara. But don't underestimate the strength of a woman when she's wearing more pain. She won't give up, she won't give in. She stands tall, proud and brave. Strength of my woman, strength of a woman when she's wearing